Welcome to South Jersey Business with Joe Molyneux. On today's program, we will turn the South Jersey spotlight on a number of quality businesses that help drive our local economy. These are the people and places providing the products and services to support our region, our state, and our national economy. As we have long known, the entrepreneurs and those that support business play a vital role in the health and development of our communities. As part of our South Jersey Business Spotlight, each of today's guests will share the what, how, who, and why of the businesses they operate and the customers they serve. Let's turn on the spotlight. Welcome back. And now it's time to shine the spotlight on Zenith Shah, owner of Heyday Coffee, and gain some extra illumination on exactly what Heyday Coffee brings to the business table right here in South Jersey. Zenith, can you talk a little bit about what you do at Heyday Coffee?
Yeah, we do everything at Heyday. So as owner-operators, there's not one thing that we don't do. When we come in, prepping the machines, making sure everything's set to go for the day, something breaks, we got to fix it. We're the barista, we're the cashier, we're the janitor. So that's really the mantra of Heyday. The philosophy of Heyday is that we get our hands dirty, and we're willing to do whatever it takes to serve really good coffee.
Well, we established that there's 3 owners, so we know a little about how you do that from a management standpoint, but it takes other people involved. You have suppliers coming and going, you have decisions to make every day about making the business more profitable. So how do you do what you do?
Yeah, so it's a committee. We make sure that we're all on the same page. Like I mentioned before, we act as one cohesive unit, and so chronicling everything, having notes, our management meetings, handoffs have to be smooth. We recap at the end of the day what are the punch list items, to-do items. The next morning we recap those and try to execute those. Divide and conquer. We make sure that everybody has the resourcing they need to do what they need to do. And then if there's an issue, we triage it. It's right now we get into the war room kind of thing. So if something breaks, something happens, the 3 of us get on a call, even if we're off, and try to resolve those sort of things. And there are times when we have people come in for a meeting, and we'll have to take the meeting and get up, get behind the counter, and serve coffee, and then get back to it.
I think that's great. It's really interesting the way you're approaching this from both a proactive and reactive way. I think that's going to lead to more success for you. Who do you serve at your establishment? So basically the question is, who makes up your target market?
Yeah, we had the Heyday concept, and the concept of it was leaning into Atlantic City, really paying homage to the past. And so William Heyday, the inventor of the boardwalk rolling chair, was sort of the namesake for Heyday. But we then added Atlantic City's coffee shop, and that sums up what we're about. We are Atlantic City's coffee shop, and we're here to serve really good coffee and be a really warm and inviting space for the city of Atlantic City. And so you have the Central Business District, you have people working year-round in the city, and then the third element is the tourists. You definitely get tourists that are looking for a really good espresso drink or a coffee, and they're willing to leave these boxes to do that. And so that's at the core of it, our audience, so to speak.
You should be commended too, because you already have a loyal customer base. I mean, when I stop in, I see similar faces, but I also see new faces, and I hear great conversations. So you should be commended on your ability to grow a customer base as quickly as you have. Yeah. I guess it's a little more reflective, a little more the passion side, but why do you do what you do?
Yeah, and this sort of goes back to the earlier question of what is success, and why we do what we do and work so hard to do it is because we want to be a place where people come in, no matter what issues they're having in their life, no matter how tough the workday ahead is, they can come in there, have a really good cup of coffee, have a great experience, a friendly experience, and then walk out feeling like they can conquer the world. And so to me, that's success within Heyday and then also personally.
That's a great way to sum up why you do what you do. I do have one more question. You're a business owner and a barista. What's your favorite beverage?
I like to keep it really simple. I prefer a latte. It's very delicious.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, well, I want to thank you for allowing us to shine the spotlight on Heyday Coffee.
Thank you.
That was today's Spotlight, providing a clear view of Heyday Coffee, located on Tennessee Avenue in Atlantic City. We'll be right back with more South Jersey business. Allie, what type of services and products do you offer to your students?
At Grace and Glory Yoga and at the Leadership Studio, we offer primarily yoga classes, so memberships, class packages, things like that. So it keeps people in their practice every day if they'd like, or as a supplemental practice to their gym membership or to their CrossFit membership, all of those types of things. So we have classes all day long every day, starting at 5:30 in the morning until 9 o'clock at night. And then we also offer meditation classes, different various types of yoga classes. And then our, I guess what I would say is our principal offering that we have is our teacher leader development programs. So for anyone that's interested in studying their yoga more seriously or taking a deeper look at their yoga, then we have things like our 200-hour teacher training program, our 500-hour teacher training program, mentoring programs. And then, an additional product that we offer is that everyone really loves our community that's a part of it. And so we have things like yoga apparel and Grace and Glory Yoga branded items.
It's great because you do see them out there. I like it a lot. You talked a lot about the services and the products, of course, but can we talk a little about who makes up your base of students, the age groups, the demographics? Who are you reaching?
It's so interesting, and I had mentioned earlier that there's not really a rhyme or reason, and we're of the belief that yoga is for everyone, and that's really what we see, especially in our Northfield and Philly and the Atlantic City studio, is that we see people of all ages, all backgrounds, all different body histories, and it's something that we really pride ourselves on.
Well, we talked about the what, and we talked about the who. Let's talk about the how. How do you do this? I mean, you're one lady with a good team around you, but how do you maintain what you've been doing? This growth has been great. The business is successful. People love it. How do you do it?
In yoga, we call it drishti, or what you would call focus. Is that every day that we wake up and there's the Zen philosophy of chop wood, carry water. It's like every day you wake up and you do the thing that you know to do, and the next day you wake up and you do it again.
I love it. Repetition. That's good, and quality behind it. You're the why. It's always my favorite part of this question. Why do you do what you do? What inspires you to continue to do this?
The philosophy that we offer people is really a shift in paradigm. It's a way of thinking in beyond their circumstances or the things that hold them back in their life, and that's the why. Like when I see someone that gets free of all those things that they feel either that they can't do or they can't take the risk in their life or have a rewarding relationship or anything like that, like that's really the thing that gets me out of bed in the morning, is I'm excited to support people in getting free in their life.
That's amazing. I do have one more follow-up question. I've been meaning to ask this question the whole segment. What is the single most greatest thing that you enjoy in working with the people you work with and teaching yoga?
The people. Period.
Well, listen, I want to thank you for joining us today and sharing a little bit of the spotlight.
Yeah, thank you, Joe.
That was Allie Nunzi, founder and CEO of Grace and Glory Yoga. We'll be right back with more South Jersey business. Mike, let's talk about what you do at Atlantic City Your Way.
Well, very simply is we created a cyber tourism Atlantic City platform to allow the consumer to build an all-inclusive vacation a la carte, and the end result is an all-inclusive per person price. And then we deliver the goods. They pay us, and then we pay for everything and make all the reservations and arrangements. And when the guest shows up, all they have to do is come here and have fun.
Well, that sort of describes how you do what you do, but it's a little deeper than that, right? You have a team behind you that helps you maintain all those relationships as well as the platform itself, correct?
Yes, it's all about relationships. I can't send anybody to a hotel if I don't have a way of making a reservation in relationships. And the big advantage we have starting out is my last job before I started this business was working in the hotel industry as a director of sales, and I've worked at several Atlantic City hotels. So the main thing you need to start a vacation is lodging. So that gave me a leg up because I knew everybody and people were willing to give me a chance, and that's what got me started.
Who makes up your customer base?
The clientele is different depending on the market segment. Like we have a golf vacation site, golfac.com, and that is primarily men 35 to 65 years old who come down with a group of guys in the spring and the fall as an all-inclusive golf vacation. And then we have guys getaways, and we market to them more social media-wise, and those are, 20-somethings to early 30s, and then we have ladies, and then we have families, which are young families looking for something to do. So our customers vary, and our websites are custom designed to each market segment.
The final question would be, why do you do what you do? What drives you?
What drives me is a vision of Atlantic City being more than just casinos, and that was enough at one time. But my background is really tourism and packaging, and Atlantic City has more than anybody could ever offer, and being so close to such major markets, if they were aware that we had great boating, fishing, nightlife, spas, you name it, it's all here. And we just have to get the word out, and if we do and we get them to our sites, we have the technology and the experience to create a tremendous vacation right here in Atlantic City.
I want to thank you for allowing us to turn the spotlight on Atlantic City your way.
My pleasure.
That was Mike Charlton, founder and creator of Atlantic City Your Way. We'll be right back with more South Jersey business. I hope you're enjoying the show. Just a quick reminder during this special Spotlight feature to also tune into our traditional show, which will be going into its third season. It is our main show where we interview business owners from around the region, provide a themed business drill to help you and your business grow, check out how our guests help the local community, and answer a viewer question. And of course, focus the spotlight on exactly what our guests are all about. Speaking of spotlights, let's get back to the show. John, what does Concert Quality Production Services do?
We supply the equipment and the personnel to execute the technical requirements of a show, a concert, or a corporate event.
How do you do what you do?
Some very careful engineering, a lot of experience, and making sure that we understand what the client's needs are.
That's a great answer and concise. Who are the clients that you serve?
We primarily serve casino environments, festivals, and then we have a large segment of corporate clients.
How has that client list grown over the years?
Well, it's kind of changed dramatically, based on the local economy. I think we were more heavily invested in casino type shows at one time, but as that's changed and the direction of entertainment's changed, we find ourselves dealing with more corporate clients that actually have a greater need for the wow factor of production.
It's clearly you can take the show on the road. I mean, it's part of what you do. But how difficult is that sometimes to think about, okay, I have all this equipment here or all this work that needs to be done somewhere across the country. How difficult is the mobilization of the equipment to get to a location?
Well, the mobilization is fairly simple, but I think the important thing to remember in our business is we actually have three distinct businesses. One being the equipment rental business, one being the technical labor business, and then one being the trucking business. So unfortunately, we're bound by the same rules as a moving company when it comes to moving gear around the country.
What's the most surprising moment you ever had in your business at showing up to a location. Can you share one with us that might have been the most surprising?
The most surprising was we had done a corporate event for an Italian helicopter manufacturer in Northeast Pennsylvania. They were building the presidential helicopter. And during a special event, their fire suppression system went off with the complex fully loaded with guests. And it wasn't your typical water fire suppression, it was a foam-based suppression, and it was just absolutely amazing how it overtook the facility.
So it turned into a foam party, basically.
Well, it wasn't a foam party because at the time we weren't really sure what the foam consisted of, and somebody had indicated that it might be caustic. So it was actually a really scary situation.
I'm glad you survived that. Now, the final question we have is, why do you do what you do? Let's talk about what motivates you every day to go out there and do the job.
I have such a feeling of satisfaction when a job goes right. And, you know, there are moments where maybe a job didn't go exactly the way you want it to, but the client generally is never aware of that. I mean, you know, we're driving the car. But then you have some of them where it's just absolutely perfect, every aspect of it. You had the little hairs on the back of your neck stand up, and you just feel like, I've achieved something here. And that's what makes it so satisfying.
I want to thank you for allowing us to turn the spotlight on your business today.
Thanks again, Joe.
That was John Hines, President of Concert Quality Production Services. We'll be right back with more South Jersey Business. Welcome back. It's now time to shine the spotlight on Ellie Hagan, founder and owner of Body and Balance, and gain some extra illumination on exactly what Body and Balance brings to the business table right here in South Jersey. Ellie, what do you do at Body and Balance?
At Body and Balance, we offer physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, yoga therapy, lymphedema therapy.
Programs as well?
Programs as well. Yes, we offer it all.
That's great. How do you do what you do? I know you have a talented team, but how do you manage to do all those different services and the additional program that you provide out of your space?
I work very hard. I'm passionate about what I do, and I want to be successful at it.
That's great. And you have a strong team behind you as well.
Oh, definitely a strong team.
Now, can we talk a little bit about, you know, I've been to your space, I've been to your center, I've seen what you do. Can we talk about who makes up your customer base?
My customer base is anyone who needs help with their balance, with their posture, with their musculoskeletal or neuromuscular problems. Most of my patients are in a geriatric older population, but we also treat children for scoliosis and young athletes who have had injuries to their limbs.
After 13 years of doing the work you've been doing in your own space, how important is the design of the space to the work you get done? I've noticed there's a lot of functionality and movement. You can hold seminars in some rooms. And how important is the design of the space to meet the needs of your customer, client, patient, and your own personal needs?
The design of the space is very crucial. If you were to look at my building, it would not be the perfect layout, but we've made the best of what we have, and we utilize every inch of space that we have.
Yeah, I noticed it every time I'll visit your location. There's a lot of smiles on people's faces, of course, but it seems like the work's getting done in a very organized way, even the way they're greeted,
Right.
and the space is designed that way.
It's that team effort.
I love it. I guess this is a little more heartfelt of an answer, but why do you do what you do?
I'm just passionate about this. I'm passionate about helping people. I'm passionate about the Parkinson's. I'm passionate about anyone that's suffering from chronic illness.
That's a very noble cause, you know, to go out and know that every day you're going to help somebody, and I think it needs to be applauded, of course. But I have one more question for you. You've owned and operated this business for 13 years. You work every day at it. You've added the Parkinson's Life Center of Southern New Jersey to the mix. How do you balance, just to borrow a word from your practice, how do you balance the business, and then every other element of your life?
I'm still learning how to do that. It's a challenge, and I'm still learning.
You're doing a great job with it.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you for allowing us to turn the spotlight on Body and Balance.
Thank you for having me.
That was today's Spotlight, providing a clear view of Body and Balance with offices in Linwood, New Jersey. We'll be right back with more South Jersey business. John, what are some of the events that you and the Good Time Tricycle team produce?
Wow, we got an actual pile of them. We just pile them up and just have a good time. So we do the Atlantic City Beer and Music Festival. We do a variety of different style tattoo expos. We do the Cider Social. We do midget wrestling. Not PC, but it's awesome. So, all lifestyle stuff. Our wheelhouse is very lifestyle oriented. We look at what people are into, what they're doing, and what drives them and gets them out of their house.
Well, I love that there's such a diversity in your offering. So this next question of who is your target market is going to change event by event. But do you begin with the event or do you begin with the audience when you're planning these events? Because you mentioned lifestyle.
A little bit of both. So what we do is we look at lifestyle trends, right? Hop on the internet, go to a different event, look what kind of draws people in, where people's interests lie. And then we look at that program, we put a pin in it, we say, okay, that's awesome. That moves bodies. So who are those bodies now? And then we start to kind of seek out, well, who are these interest seekers? Who are into widgets? I never thought I'd use widgets in a conversation. So who are into these widgets? And then we kind of build it around there. And then how do we touch these widget lovers? And find that. And then we say, okay, well, we're doing an event around widgets. So let's create sub-profiles around those widgets that while people are looking at widgets, we can distract them so they can look at other things. And maybe, hey, that's another widget that they might be into. This is how this happened. We started our beer festival, right? Beer grew and grew and grew and grew, and we started to add ciders. And why did we add ciders? Because we wanted to see if there was an interest, almost like a gigantic focus group. And we saw people kind of going towards ciders. We knew that we could get away with doing a cider program, hence the Cider Social was born. So we use our own concepts to tease and test people with other concepts.
It's great. You just did a great job of answering the how after the who and the what. So now we get to the why. What drives you? What inspires you? Year over year, you come up with new ideas. Talk about what inspires you, please.
What inspires me? I'm inspired by success, right? When a program works, I'm inspired. But on the flip side, when a program doesn't work, we did an event a bunch of years ago called the Average Joe Expo. Fell flat on my face. Just might as well have set a pile of money on fire, danced around it, hoped it rained. But I learned a lot from it. And one thing I did learn was, if you take your lumps, your wins feel that much better because you know what the down was like. So as bad as it hurt to get beat up, it was inspiring to go, okay, so I'm not invincible and don't do that again. And here's what you have to do to fix what you're doing. And it kind of propped me up. Like, I think I worked harder that next year after that on every other program we had. I attribute a lot of our kind of black eyes to the success of the program.
Well, I want to say you're not only a producer, you are a creator. And I want to thank you for the creativity because it results in thousands of people coming to South Jersey. And above that, the other areas that you also produce events in. So I want to thank you for not only that, but for sharing time with us in the Business Spotlight today.
Hey, man, thanks for having me.
That was John Henderson, President and Executive Event Producer at Good Time Tricycle. We'll be right back with more South Jersey business. Michael, can we talk a little bit about what sort of products you offer to the customers you serve?
Sure. Wine, spirits, beer, artisanal cheeses, growler fills, which are 64-ounce containers of craft beer. We have 16 taps at our Summers Point location that rotate just the hottest craft beers throughout the country.
Yeah.
And a whole lot more.
Who makes up your customer base?
Who? Well, listen, it's locals within our community, Summers Point, Egg Harbor Township, but we also have become a destination store. So we pull from all of Atlantic and Cape May County. But the third store that I often reference is PassionVines.com. So we have customers all over the country. We ship to every permissible state all year round.
You know, when you called it the third store, that's awesome because I know you're spending a lot of time and energy on that internet to be able to reach those customers, and I think it's great, especially because we have a high seasonal influx within our region, and those folks can stay connected with you even when they go back to their original state or home state.
That's exactly right. And not to mention, it's a great tool to sell, but it's also a great tool to educate. And so on there, you'll see our entire list of products, but descriptions that follow. So it's a great tool not only for new hires as a way to learn, but for our customers to catch up on as well.
There's no question you're a fully engaged owner-operator, but I'm watching this industry change with the explosion of craft beers and craft distilleries and, of course, wineries all over. How do you personally stay current on all those options and what to bring into the store and what maybe not to bring into the store? But how do you stay current?
Sure. Yeah, like you said, there's literally dozens of new products entering the building every week.
Yeah.
And my quick answer would be our team, right? I mean, when you hire right and you hire, in our case, for a passion for the product to which we sell, naturally you're going to want to know what's out there.
Yeah.
Right? And so there's that. And then coupled with knowing which publications to look at, right? And then relying on particular salesmen and saleswomen to get you that information. But ultimately, I think it starts intrinsically with the individual, the buyer, and a passion for the product.
I also notice when people have requests, you do your very best to bring that into the store. I know personally, we've talked to you about a few products and
Absolutely.
You've sought them out. If they were available, you were able to bring them into the store. And that's much appreciated.
Thank you.
We talked about the what, the who, the how, and now we got to get to the why. We should start sometimes with the why, but why do you do what you do, and what inspires you? What motivates you to keep this going?
Absolutely, the power of why. For me, the why is everything. Why we do it is ultimately to connect our passion with the customer. We do it in a couple different ways. Like I said, it starts with our coworkers. Right? We truly believe that it's more than just a job. It's a place where you can learn, grow, and do repeatedly. And then in turn, you can make meaningful connections with people that shop with us. And in the same way that we are growing internally, right, as a team, we can then start that journey with our customers. And so whether it's literally just allowing that customer to learn one new fact about a Cabernet Sauvignon that they didn't know when they started, or whether it's coming to a master class, there's so many avenues. But what I know in the end is that when you're learning, you're growing, and when you're growing, you're at your best.
Wow, that's great. I really feel like you've nailed not only the spotlight, but you've also talked to me and clearly defined your passion. And I want to thank you for being part of the spotlight today, Michael.
Thank you, Joe. It's an honor.
Thank you. That was Michael Bray, founder of Passion Vines Wine and Spirit Company. We'll be right back with more South Jersey Business. Well, that's the show. We turned the South Jersey Business Spotlight on a number of businesses that help drive our local economy. We explored the what, how, who, and why for each guest, the businesses they operate, and the customers they serve. Once again, thank you to Stockton University and everyone that makes this program possible. Let's do it again next week. And until then, let's get growing, South Jersey. Thanks for watching.